Now, she famously formed her band after watching the Sex Pistols perform on Hastings Pier on her 18th birthday, and now a new film about Poly Styrene, the former singer with the X-ray Spex, is in the pipeline. Fundraising has begun today for Poly Styrene I Am A Cliché, with a cinema release date set for November next year.
Well, Poly Styrene was one of the first female punk icons. Her real name was Marianne Elliott Said. X-ray Spex released just one album, Germ-Free Adolescence, in 1978 before splitting up. She died in 2011 at the age of just 53 after suffering from cancer. Well, Piers Hopkirk looks back now on her life and the plans for the film.
In a music movement which celebrated the power of the individual, she was a uniquely individual voice.
I chose the name Poly Styrene because it's a lightweight, disposable product.
Now the life of the X-ray Spex singer is set to be celebrated in a new film. In the dressing room of London's infamous punk mecca, the 100 Club, Brighton-based director Paul Sng explained the inspiration behind the documentary.
I think Poly Styrene was as important as John Lydon, as Joe Strummer, or as anyone else. I mean, she wasn't as famous, but in terms of what she did as a woman on that scene, a biracial working class woman, to get up there and make the amazing music that she did. For me, she is, up there with anyone.
The long hot summer of 1976, July the 3rd, your 19th birthday. On Hastings Pier, you saw the Sex Pistols for the first time.
Called Poly Styrene I Am A Cliché, her story begins in Hastings, where she was inspired to form a band. It's being narrated and researched by her daughter, Celeste.
It's been a really amazing experience to go through. I have an archive of all her artwork and diary entries and poems, and so I'm able to discover my mum as she was 30, 40 years ago, which is really special.
Author and musician Zoë Howe is one of the film's writers.
Punk could be quite austere and rigid, and Poly was, wearing day-glow colours and very colourful and kind of almost sort of playful and childlike. And I just loved the bravery, I suppose, of what she did and what she stood for.
Poly Styrene's final years were spent in Hastings. She gave her last interview to South East Today before her death from cancer in 2011.
I had this band and I went out there and made a lot of young people dance and sing.
Crowdfunding for the film has just begun. It's hoped it'll premiere in November next year, a homage to one of punk's most fascinating figures. Piers Hopkirk, BBC South East Today at the 100 Club.